Seth Misfada's morning news source. You're watching Fox 4 Rising.
We are following some breaking news this morning. A deputy's car catches fire, and now a criminal investigation is underway. Good morning and welcome to Fox 4 Rising. I'm Miriam Zamorano.
And I'm Kelly Dame. Brand new as you wake up with us, Cape Coral police are trying to figure out how a deputy's car caught fire. The incident happening this morning just before 2 on Van Buren Parkway in northwest Cape Coral. We want to send it right over to Fox 4 Rising's Mark Jackman, who's live in what's a pretty active scene still this morning. Good morning, Mark.
Good morning, Kelly and Miriam. You know, for neighbors that are waking up right now in this area wondering what is going on with all this extra police activity, we'll take a look at this right behind me. This Cape Coral police telling us that this Lee County deputy car caught fire right here in this driveway. Obviously, the fire's out now, but you can tell that it took so much damage. This thing was burnt to a crisp. So now Lee County deputies and Cape Coral police are out here doing an investigation. They say that this started right before 2 a.m., but they are, and fortunately, nobody was injured, and you can see that the house didn't take any damage from this fire, even though it looks like it must have been pretty impactful. Now, they are treating this as a crime scene investigation, though they don't have, they're saying just as a precaution, because at this moment, no word yet on what started this fire or perhaps whom. But we will stay here this entire morning to make sure that you stay connected to the latest updates as the Lee County Deputy and Cape Coral Police continue their investigation. For now, we're live here in Cape Coral. I'm Mark Jackman, Fox 4 Rising.
All right, Mark, thank you. We'll stay on top of that throughout Rising here. And at 5:01, another story we've been following happening today. One of 2 men charged in the murder of prominent Bonita Springs doctor Teresa Sievers could be ordered to come to Lee County. The deadline for Curtis Wainwright's attorney to file a petition to stop or delay his extradition was last Friday. Wright remains in a Missouri jail charged with second-degree murder in connection with Sievers' death. Wright's extradition hearing is set for today. The other suspect in this case, Jimmy Rogers, will be brought back to Lee County after he serves a 6-month sentence for a probation violation.
New as you wake up with us, an intense manhunt is underway right now in Louisiana for a man convicted of manslaughter who was accidentally released from prison. Benjewel Johnson served time for 3 felony convictions at Louisiana's Dixon Correctional Institute, and on September 22nd was transferred to another jurisdiction. A corrections official says the person processing Johnson's paperwork didn't notice on his rap sheet that he still had to serve time. Local media reports that Johnson was sentenced to 35 years for manslaughter. A brand new report out today says of the more than 250 Americans who've traveled overseas in the past few years in hopes of joining terrorist groups, several dozen have been able to sneak back into the United States without being arrested or monitored. That's according to a new congressional study which offers no details on those who've made it back into the country. It says the administration doesn't have a strategy to prevent the overseas travel or to identify all of the people who want to return to commit terror attacks.
Today is the deadline to avoid a federal government shutdown, and the potential for a shutdown appears to be diminishing. By the end of the day, it's expected both houses of Congress will pass a resolution to continue funding the government for at least a few months. Approval in the House had been in doubt because some Republicans wanted to oust House Speaker John Boehner. They opposed him moving the spending bill forward because of its inclusion of federal dollars for Planned Parenthood. But the conservatives lost their leverage Friday with Boehner's surprise announcement that he would retire in a few weeks. A provision to defund Planned Parenthood would not have gotten through the Senate, where Democrats have enough votes to block it. So Boehner had to accept the funding, even though some in his rank flank were willing to shut down the government over it.
The Northeast is dealing with some flooding today from Maine down to North Carolina. Heavy rain yesterday turning backyards into veritable rivers for some homeowners in Bassett, Virginia. The downpour over the last several days has left play sets, grills, and even some cars nearly underwater. As their lawns turn to liquid, residents watch the current carry debris downstream. Officials are expecting even more flooding as water flows downstream from a neighboring county. Well, this week's supermoon is being blamed for serious flooding in parts of North Carolina. Officials say the supermoon brought unusually high tides to the north end of Topsail Island. Many homes are now surrounded by water, with floodwaters destroying fences and outdoor staircases. The tide should subside over the next few days. Forecasters are, though, keeping an eye on Tropical Storm Joaquin, which could bring problems to the area this weekend. Of course, we've heard that name from Jamie.
Yes.
Right, and Jamie, we also want to see what the weather's going to be like today. Yesterday, this time, we were dealing with a lot of rain coming into southwest Florida. Is it going to be a repeat of today, or how is it going to be shaping up?